Sound speeding.
Lights.
Camera rolling.
Mostly.
Camera's rolling.
That data is on already.
We're good.
Let's go.
All right. Well, hello out there again in Maya TV land. I am Nina Childs, and I am back today with the Michael McDonald to my Patti LaBelle. Look it up. I have here comedian, actor, writer, and host Taylor Glomster. Welcome to the show, Taylor.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. What do you have in store for me today? I don't know what I've signed up for. What do you?
I don't know. You signed up to answer a bunch of questions.
Oh boy, here we go.
Some of them direct and some of them cerebral. Now, I
Okay.
do want to start by saying that I'm very, very tempted to call you Tay Tay because that's what I call everyone whose name is Taylor, including Taylor Swift.
I usually reserve Tay Tay for women who are close to me. So congrats. There you go. You've earned.
Thank you.
You've earned the. I've earned the title.
You've earned the nickname.
Yeah.
This is your hood name now,
Yeah.
Tay
Okay.
Tay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. All right, so I always like to start with asking the question so that the viewers know where you're from. We're in LA right now, but where are you from originally?
I'm actually from a small town in Washington. I grew up there like maybe 5,000 people.
Oh wow, that is small.
Yeah, my graduating class was like 300, and then went to school for broadcasting and moved to LA. I'm almost at my 10-year mark. I think I'm at my 10-year mark. I'm not sure.
Well, if you're at your 10-year mark, that means that you're going to be famous in like the next 12 to 13 months.
Perfect.
Because that's usually the threshold.
I hear it takes 7 years, so I feel like I've overshot a little bit.
No, it's 10 to 11.
Okay.
Technically, it takes a while to get into the right circle. So, all right, so you're from a small town in Washington. You're here. How did you get your start in entertainment coming from Washington?
My dad actually was a news anchor broadcaster for when I was younger, but by the time I don't have too many memories of it. He switched professions, but I started doing stand-up. The first time I did stand-up was 13 in front of my school, and then I did it again a couple more times in high school, and then I took a break in college. There wasn't really a lot of sources for me to do places to go to do stand-up in a small town on the border of Washington and Idaho. There's not a lot of stand-up opportunities out there. So when I moved to LA, I got the itch again, and so here I am.
Wow, so your dad was a broadcaster.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to interview like a lot of athletes back in the day. So.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
he was like the sports guy.
Yep.
Awesome, that's dope. All right, and now I know you from just the live world of theater and live shows, but you host a very cool live variety show called Good Night with Glomstad every Monday, 9 p.m. at Rocco's in West Hollywood. Tell me about that show, how you came up with it, and how it came about and its evolution.
That show is an amalgamation of everything that swims around in my brain and the things I was raised up on. So, you know, a lot of 90s influence, Twin Peaks, a little bit of horror in there. I love me a good John Carpenter. I'm trying to think of other stuff. It's a little bit Arsenio Hall, a little bit Conan meets Adult Swim.
Very much, that's a great description.
I had the moment I was watching my friend perform, and she was singing some really soulful music, and it clicked for me then, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the key I've been missing to trying to run a live show. I was like, I just need a performer, and so I actually got her on my first show. I'm hoping to have her back soon, but she'll be blowing up. Her name is Sabrina Cyan. She's a phenomenal singer. And she's about to drop an album soon, I believe. But she and then another friend, Mina, were like a key component for me to see that the show needed like a singing aspect. So yeah, I basically run a variety show, talk show, every Monday. And someone once told me that it is a 90s Benadryl-induced fever dream.
That is a very accurate description as well. And it comes with a void
Yes.
at no extra charge.
The void is what we refer to as the audience, or just anything that can go wrong, but also people are allowed to sign up for the show and they can do their best 3 minutes or tell a story. Or if they have an act they can do in 3 minutes, they are welcome to do it on my show. And then if I like it, I'll interview them. I normally only interview booked guests and performers, but if they do something fun, and it doesn't even need to be that good. It just needs, if it's fun or amazing or shows off you, I'll interview you.
Yes, and the set is very cool. So congratulations.
Thank
on that.
you.
Did you design the set?
I did design the set. It's very. I also like to refer to the show as like maybe the first vaporwave talk show, or just the last talk show on Earth. Is also how I feel about it, because I think in late night is dying or has died. So I'm trying to bring it back.
I mean, late night just seems very generic now. All of the shows are the same, and I know that there's Jimmy Kimmel. I don't even know if Jay Leno's still on. There's Jimmy Fallon.
All the J's.
All the J's, but
Yeah.
they kind of just all blur together.
That's fair.
There's nothing really.
A lot of waspy energy up there.
A lot of waspy energy, but
Yeah.
Jimmy tries. Jimmy Fallon tries.
Yeah,
He tries.
laughs his way through most of it. Yeah.
Right, and then probably in a drunken stupor. So that's Good Night with Glomster in a nutshell. And now I can't read my own writing. Yeah. But I was gonna say you're working on something new right now. Can you really talk about it, or?
I'm currently, I probably shouldn't say the names, but I am shooting a mockumentary style movie with a director who is bringing in a lot of high profile comedians. And it's really fun because we basically are shooting, we have long days, but we're doing, we're shooting the scene, and then depending on who the comic is, we're like, and go. And then they just start riffing. And so either their stuff will be in the movie, or we're just going to have at the end of the movie also end credits scene of all the cut takes and
all
bloopers.
the end up on the
Because there's a lot of stuff people have said that we're like, we don't know, maybe we'll use that one, but it's really funny, and you're like, you're doubling over, crying.
But it's controversial.
It's controversial, or it just doesn't fit. Like if you're in a doctor's office and then suddenly this doctor goes, ranting off about something maybe inappropriate towards women's health and side. It's fun. It's really fun.
You seem to travel in a circle of comedians that like to push the envelope.
Yeah.
Which is that's something that's very interesting. How do you feel about pushing the envelope? Because I feel like your comedy, from what I've been able to witness, kind of stays within the realms of like, being funny, not being too conservative, not being offensive. Like, how do you manage to do that?
I just sort of be like my general nerd self up there, and I feel like sometimes I'll push the envelope. If I'm in the mood, I'll get a little ranty. I do love me a good Bill Burr rant. But it's always the fine line is like, if you're ranting and you're ranting and you're ranting, and then you don't have a punchline, now you're just complaining.
Right.
And you better get that thing turned around into a punchline, because otherwise people just start tuning you out on stage. And so sometimes I think I can get a little ranty, but I try to keep I don't want to say a clean show, but like a PG-13 late night Adult Swim, like something you would see
on Adult Swim.
On Adult Swim.
Absolutely. And now you're a multi-hyphenate actor, writer. You directed, you're hosting. So, but what do you prefer to do? Like, what's your favorite thing?
I also would like to throw actor activist Taylor Glomster.
Activist?
Yeah.
Really?
It sounds nice.
Okay.
I just wanted to add.
Just want to throw it.
Yeah, I thought you needed another hyphen in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't have enough.
I'm not actively an activist, but we're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're thinking about activating.
Yeah. Correct.
That's dope. But
what was the question? Sorry.
I'm saying that you're a multi-hyphenate, but out of all of the things that you're doing, what do you like to do the most?
You can find me. I like to do a lot of karaoke. I'm not gonna lie. I like doing stand-up. Occasionally I'll be, doing trivia. I'm actually thinking about incorporating trivia into my show, my weekly show. But, basically I'm hanging outside the Comedy Store or another comedy club about 3 times a week. And then I'm running my show 1 day a week. And then the 2 to 3 other days, if my math is working correctly, I'm working and trying to balance that schedule. So
stand-up is the answer.
Stand-up is really the answer, with some karaoke thrown in, occasionally a movie.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Anything by Tenacious D or Guns N' Roses.
Tenacious D, that's not really a band.
Tenacious D is a band.
It's a parody band, right?
Well, they consider themselves like a rock entertainment group, but it's all their original music. It's kind of like Flight of the Conchords. It's,
Oh, maybe I saw
like
that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like parody music, but it's original.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Now, I like to ask people who've been doing something for a long time to share with our viewers tips, because there are people out there that may want to do what you're doing as far as stand up. What would be advice, I'm sorry, that you would give to a comic that's just starting out?
Go do it. Go do it. If you're thinking about doing it, do it. Go do it. Write it down. Be in the scene. Be around it. The best thing you can do. It's kind of like when you're in college and you just don't feel like going, or in school in general, you don't feel like just go. You don't need to do anything. Just be there to be around the flow of people and that lifestyle. And I don't always promote the comic lifestyle. It's not for everyone. It's late hours. It's weird hours.
It's a lot of alcohol.
A lot of alcohol. A lot of vices. My advice to your vice is find a good one and make sure it's mostly healthy, because you can meet some really shady people in the industry.
Yeah. What did Tribe Called Quest say? Rule number 400, 680.
Can I kick it?
Yeah, there. People in entertainment are shady. All right, that pretty much sums it up. So we talked a little bit about what you're working on now, the mockumentary with some of the well-known actors and comedians that you cannot name. But what would you say is like a dream project or a dream collaboration that you'd love to see happen in your near future?
I'm writing 2 features. I have one that's nearly done, sitting around 80 to 90 pages, and then I have another one at 30. Then I have another one on around 20 to 30 as well. I'd like to get one of those scripts off the ground and see it come to fruition. But I also I had an idea for a podcast. I'd really like to. My dream would be to work with Taylor Tomlinson and Pete Holmes at the same time and have a podcast called 2 T's and a P. So it's me, Taylor, and then Taylor Tomlinson.
That's kind of dirty.
And then Pete Holmes, and we all talk about our different views on religion and God, because each of us have a slightly different but relatable perspective. I think it'd be a really fun podcast.
So it would be a comedic podcast that's centered around religion.
Not religion, but more like navigating it growing up, how you're doing now, maybe some advice on where you are depending on your faith, yada, yada, yada.
What is your faith?
It's a good question. Right now, I'd say non-denominational something. I believe in God, but sometimes some days are pretty rough. I've learned a lot in the city, and I've seen a lot in the city, and it's not for everyone. It'll crush your spirits and break your heart over and over and over again. It'll make you feel like you're the most lonely person in the world, yet here I am talking to my friend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But how were you raised? Were you raised in like a Christian household?
Yeah, I was raised in a conservative Christian household.
Oh.
Yeah. No complaints, really. There's no biases that I feel like I carry and someone, calls me out. Whenever I tell somebody that, they're usually a little surprised. But so I'm like, okay, I think I'm living okay.
I'm not surprised. That makes sense.
Okay.
With your temperament and personality, I can see that.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to lie to my face.
I will. I'll lie behind your back as well.
It's a lot of back, so thanks.
All right, and so wait, but you're working on 3 features. I had no idea. So what are the genres, if you can't get into the stories?
One is a psychological thriller. That one's most completed. It's kind of a horror thriller. This man who's a discount Stephen King, he is a writer and he's trying to finish his book. And he goes to an island in Washington to get some little R&R. And what he discovers there, he learns, a lot about the U.S. history and stuff he had been writing about maybe isn't true or fabricated, I would say, based on what we know as a country, where it's like, history was always written by the winners. Good thing we won.
Right. Oh.
You know what I mean?
So it's like a kind of like a psychological thriller about coming to terms with the dark side of history and the life.
A little bit, but still there's some goofy horror fun elements and people getting drugged via the water system. Yeah, it's a good time. It's fun. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to.
You can't say much more than that.
No, I don't. If I say any more, I'm gonna give away the whole movie.
You're gonna give away the whole movie
because I'm really excited. I'd like to talk about it more.
Hopefully, it's copywritten.
It is currently.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good.
The other one, Passion Project. I'll say that really quick. It's about this guy who alternate reality. He lives in Seattle, like alternate reality 1999 essentially. And it's more of a noir detective story, and he's trying to figure out this company that is responsible for possibly cloning people.
Which is debatable as to whether or not that's actually happening today.
Correct.
Yeah, that's interesting. Cloning as a subject is always interesting. All right, and now we've talked a little bit about your projects. What are you watching right now? Because I know, I'm always shocked when I talk to creatives and people who write and direct who are like, I don't watch TV or I don't watch films. It's like, what?
I don't think this show needs a plug, but Severance is what I've been watching religiously. That show's pretty good. Have you seen it?
I haven't even heard of it. It's on Apple TV?
It's either on Apple TV Plus or Paramount Plus or Unicorn Plus. I don't know. One of
Unicorn Plus. I think I've heard of it. Who's in it?
Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, and he was in Step Brothers. Also in it is Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken, John Turturro.
Oh, I love John Turturro.
And some other people that I'm not remembering their names off the top of my head. It's phenomenal. The show has phenomenal acting, phenomenal writing, and is very original. The idea is, I don't know why I'm plugging the show, but you should go watch it, I guess. The idea is that if you could go home from work and you live your life at home and you live your life at work, and the two don't remember each other. So like, it's based off like, when you go home, don't take your work with you, kind of that idea. So what if you could split those personalities completely? Because some people do have a home personality and some people do have a full different life.
What we call code switching.
But just if you had no memories connected to either of those.
Okay, so like if you're in your home life and you're at the grocery store and you see a coworker and they're like, "Hey," and you're like,
"No," because they probably wouldn't recognize you either because they're also severed. So you might know Nina, you might know Taylor from like the coffee shop, and you see me at the coffee shop, but you and I would actually never know we work together. I might think you're my neighbor. You might be my neighbor in real life, but at work, you're actually my boss.
And you have no recollection of me as your neighbor.
No, or same thing. Like I either only know you as my neighbor.
So you have two different relationships.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna check that out. Well, you know what? I always like to end off every interview with letting the people out there know where they can find you on social media, online, in the world.
My Instagram page is super easy. If you just look up GWG, which stands for Good Night with Glomster, I should pop up on Instagram. My personal page is G_STAD, GSTAD, which is the shortened version of my last name. If you go on YouTube, you can also find Good Night with Glomster on YouTube. I'm slowly uploading the live elements that we have now. On there is reminiscent of my old YouTube show, but also now I have the live version being uploaded slowly.
And actually, you can catch me on one of his shows, okay? Because I did one of his Halloween episodes. So
that is true.
It was very, very fun. So, and also catch him every Monday at 9, Rocco's in Rio.
Yeah. West Hollywood, 9 p.m. every Monday.
Every Monday. But thanks for joining us, guys, and stay tuned because we have more awesome interviews coming. Bye.
That was great.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't too painful, right?
Did you